Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Butcherbird Presents, a show where we speak to different creative people who are working in the digital space. For the very first time, I am your host, Jason Milligan, and with me today is writer-director Maggie Levin.
Hi, everybody.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
So I have described you as writer-director, which is probably not, it's accurate, but it is only a portion of what you do.
When I pitch myself as an entity, I say the full title is either writer-director disco witch, if I'm being funny, or writer-director creator of artistic things.
And how do you choose when to be funny and when to be
very
serious?
It depends on the way the wind is blowing.
Well, today the wind is blowing at extreme
intensely
speeds. So
and catching everything on fire.
Yes, including my neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
Not really my neighborhood, more like Travis's neighborhood. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the fire. We're here to talk about Maggie Levin.
So the scope of what I do, I'm primarily I would say an all-around creator. So I write things and then I furiously convince other people to help me make them.
Which you're very good at doing this because, and we
Thanks.
talked about this a little before, how what a lot of people at least feel obligated to do when they try to get into filmmaking is they have like their own style, their own approach, but then they think like, well, I really want to get this client and they seem to do this, so I'm going to change my approach and my style to fit that.
Yeah.
And it seems like you haven't, maybe you've had to do it at some point, but it doesn't seem like you've had to.
Well, I think I have I am just like so who I am, and I operated independently for so long that at this point, and not that I don't still try to get other kinds of jobs, but at this point people come to me for a specific thing. They look at what I do and they're like, okay, we want your style. And I'm super lucky. I don't know if I'll get to continue that for the rest of my life. I hope to some extent. I think that I would go crazy if I weren't at least able to make one thing that I adore that really comes from my soul. And my soul is like very, very glittery and full of people in their underwear.
Yeah, so one of the ways we could describe your style, I think we could say it's very vibrant.
Yeah.
It's often vibrant colors, vibrant sets, vibrant costumes. It's kinetic, like quick moving things, lots of raves and dance parties. And then, much like you said, often full of very attractive male and female characters who are mostly naked.
Yeah.
Or very close to it.
Yeah, I think, you'll get to see it in some clips today, but a lot of what I do is heavily influenced by glam rock, and I think like I watched Velvet Goldmine and Rocky Horror religiously as a teenager, and my idols are David Bowie and Prince, and so I'm really just like trying to create like a very big rock and roll experience at all times.
Right. So it's always kind of a little bit of rock and roll influence sliding into your work. So
100%.
A lot of your musical influences are affecting your visual approaches.
Well, and both of my parents are in the arts. My father is a rock musician, a touring bass player in some like pretty significant bands. My mother is a ballerina and a choreographer, and so like those things show up. My weird Woodstock, New York childhood shows up, I think, across my body of work.
That's kind of an awesome melding, though.
Oh,
like,
yeah, no.
Rock star dad, ballerina mom. Have they ever worked? They've had to have tried to do something together at some point.
Actually,
right?
one of the things that they did together after they were no longer a couple, when I was about 13, my dad did cut an album in a cave. Seriously, as one does.
Oddly enough, I have been approaching a mine in this area, like a mine cave, and found a guy exiting with a guitar case, and he was saying, "Oh, there's really great acoustics
are
in
wild
there."
in there, right? Yeah. So
And,
my dad cut a record in the Widow Jane mine in upstate New York, and then my mom, for an AIDS benefit in New York, did this like crazy performance art dance piece that I was in. One of my favorite pictures of me and my mom, because I was in it as well, was us in these like black, purple crow costumes that my dad's cave music was the score for. So yeah, I've had a weird upbringing.
So here's kind of the thing, right? When you're a kid, a lot of the times you want to rebel against whatever the norm is for you, but
Yeah.
the norm for you was art, rock music, dance, and the rock music part is kind of how most teenagers choose to rebel in the
Right.
first place. So did you try to rebel at all, or did you just give into it and become part of it?
I think, yeah, I always liked my parents. I know that's not cool at all, but
It's way cooler than the opposite, which is
I think like I
hating your
tried
parents,
out, probably my most rebellious act was moving to Los Angeles, actually.
Oh, and that is the one that you continue to this day.
Exactly.
So we've talked about your parents and we've talked about these influences and your style.
Yeah.
And we just keep teasing people. So what I think we should do is we should give them a quick look at what some of your work is like.
Oh, yeah.
So if we could cue up a portion of your reel, let's take a look at that now.
How could you know? How could you know that those were my eyes? Peeping through the floor, it's like they know. It's like they know I'm looking from the outside. And creeping to the door, it's like they know. Now they're coming, yeah, now they're coming out from the shadows to take me to the court because they know. Gotta shut this down. 'Cause they've been watching all my windows. They gathered up a warrant 'cause they know. You understand I got a plan for us. I bet you didn't know that I was dangerous.
So that should give everyone a hint of what we were talking about. I think there probably...
Did we end on the making out? I think we did.
I hope so. But there probably was not only one
There is
making out
only
instance
one make-out moment in my reel.
in your reel, but
Yeah.
not in your body of work.
Actually, very little actual kissing, just a lot of dancing and a lot of shirt
A
removal.
lot of dry humping.
Yeah.
That's mostly that's your primary focus.
I don't know, like I think a lot of the work that I do, it just winds up being innately kind of sexy because like I always want to create like supercharged immersive entertainment, and like to me the things that represent like the best of that are like Hedwig and again like I'm gonna keep coming back to Rocky. It's like and that's all about gender twisting and playing with sexuality, and so I think that's always just like there in the work that I do.
Well, and you've brought up Rocky Horror
Several
a couple
times.
of times, or several, or
Yeah.
how many times it's been. So this would be a good time to talk about your interpretation of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which
Yeah.
is...
It's called the Rocky Horror Hipster Show, and basically I had been living in Los Angeles for a couple of years and had become a part of a really cool community of actors and artists, knew a lot of performers finally, and I was hiking one day and the time warp came on my iPod. I actually hadn't thought about the show in a long time.
It just happened to be there.
No, it shuffled on, and I started thinking about like what my, at this point in time, like fantasy football-ish cast of Rocky Horror would be. And then I thought about it and I was like, I actually know a perfect person for every role in that show. So the initial idea, this was in 2014, was I'll just get a couple friends together. You know, my partner is a fantastic musician and he could get a rock band together. We'll do like a live, just songs and a couple of little scenes, like on script. And then, as often happens, like once you put a bunch of really fun people in a room, it
Right,
just
a bunch
sort of like
creative people
Yeah.
with ideas and
and so the people who were initially involved and are still involved to this day were all so pumped up, and the energy like in my living room was so incredible that it became very quickly like, well, screw it, like let's just do this thing. So I put some twists on it. It's a live show. It's not in front of the movie. It's based off of the original stage show from London, and from also the Roxy in Los Angeles. We've also thrown some other songs in there and done kind of a remixed twist on a lot of stuff. There's some Queen songs. There's a Genuine song in there at one point. And we do it with a live rock band at a place called Three Clubs in Hollywood. There's been known to be crowd surfing and moshing and drinking heavily encouraged.
Do you think of it more as a stage show, or do you think of it more as a musical performance, or some weird hybrid in between?
Yeah, it's a weird hybrid. The room is so tiny, and that's really by design. Like we pack out the back room of this like speakeasy club, and basically if you're there, you're gonna be touching the performers, but because there's nowhere else for them to go.
You're going to be appropriately touching.
Consent is also extremely important, you know. It's part rock show, part musical, and part just live experience.
So you brought a clip, a sample of what this could be. Do you want to explain to everyone who's about to see it what they're about to witness?
I thought about bringing you guys the full trailer for the show, but a moment after all of this like crazy opening energy happens in the show, we also do like a comedian beforehand. We do have different audience members come up and fake orgasms for prizes. So we've done all of this, and the show has started.
Why didn't you send us those clips?
Oh, because I would need to get the audience members' permission, and I don't think they'd like it. So this is like one of the first moments of stillness that the audience has after an hour of just like crazy, and people respond usually and very excitedly to see the first official appearance of the character of Riff Raff, who is played by my dear friend Ian McEwan. So you'll get a sense from the sound of the audience and from the looks of it of what our show is like.
All right, so let's take a look at that clip right now.
Darkness must go down the river of night streaming. Move it slow, let the sun and light come streaming into my life, into my
You're still doing this show, right?
Well, we took a year off this year. It was supposed to, 2016 was supposed to be the end of Rocky Horror Hipster Show forever.
But
I can't say officially. However, we all had a big sad time this year when we didn't do it.
you're also wearing a jacket of it right now.
Oh yeah,
so
no,
it still
I am wearing
it still
my
holds
official.
a place in your heart.
Should I show it?
You should show it.
All right,
yes.
here's our official merch. We don't actually sell these, but the whole cast and crew has them.
You don't officially sell them yet.
No, and we had such a good time, and we miss it a lot. So I think we're probably getting the band back together next year in this coming Halloween.
So you're hiking, the song comes on.
Yeah.
You think, oh, I always wanted to do this show.
I mean, I
It
was in
turns
the
into
show
a
in
you've
high
done.
school. I played Magenta. I also played what's called a Phantom, which is the backup singers. One of the things I'm most proud of in Rocky Horror is like it's not just our lead cast that's cool. The support cast is made up of all of these rad singer musicians throughout LA. Michelle Jupiter, Tybee Diskin, Taylor Murphy Sinclair, and Keely Bumford, who's an incredible artist. I think her band is called Dressage. I think I'm pronouncing it right.
Maybe you'll get a message if you were not.
Yeah, I'd be like, Maggie, you pronounced the name of my band wrong, but I do love you. I love you, Keely. So it's just really an eclectic group of people, and it's not like traditional musical theater performers. It's a really, it's a different kind of experience.
So let's transition from that, which I'm sure was a huge amount of time on top of your other filmmaking pursuits.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about another show that's kind of in a similar vein to that, And I just inadvertently said the title of it, which is Vein.
Yeah.
So tell us about that project.
So, my friends who run a company called Arbor Entertainment came to me, I think it was at the end of 2015. And they were working on all of this 360 and virtual reality content. And they said, do you have any concepts? I threw them a couple of ideas that they're like, yeah, people have done that before. And then I was like, well, what about the opening from Blade? The blood rave, where a human is taken into what turns out to be a rave full of vampires. It's awesome. If you haven't seen Blade, you got to see the original Blade.
I have not. So.
And so my friends were like, that sounds amazing. And these friends in particular, which include Braden Herrera, Mira Kim, and Alex Chunu, they were like, well, they sort of embody the same spirit as I do, which is like...
And they all live together, too.
They do.
They all live together in basically a commune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're very much of my philosophy of like, find a way to make it happen. We don't do a lot of waiting for money or permission. We just sort of go like, okay, what do I have in my savings account? How do we make it happen? So I wrote a script and I wound up flipping what happens in Blade. So instead it's a traditional rave and a bunch of vampires descend upon it. And in the process of writing it and rehearsing with our fight director, Alex Marshall Brown, the coven of vampires kind of took on a life of its own, and we started developing a full show concept.
Oh, so at that point, you hadn't planned on it being a
No.
show. Because, so we haven't mentioned this, but I became involved in this
Yeah.
as well. And when I came in the process, I always had the impression that this was a long-standing idea that you were finally getting around to.
No.
I had no idea that it started as a 360,
Yeah.
and then you were inspired to take it further than that.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be a standalone 360 short, and then it developed into, well, this could be a proof of concept for a whole series, which would be either a series in 360 or a hybrid digital of 2D and 360.
Which we decided, it was decided for what we put together that it would be both.
Yeah.
So we shot 2D and 360
Yeah.
over, I don't even remember anymore, was it over 1 day or 2 days?
It was one
It
crazy
was 1 day,
day.
right, yeah.
Yeah, with a 6-hour build the day before. Maybe it was a whole day. I don't know. It
So-
was that weekend is a blur.
So you, as you were working on it, decided, oh, this could be a show. So you started developing these characters
Yeah.
further. And what was the plan from there?
The plan, there was no plan.
What was the plan? The finger quotations plan.
What has wound up happening is as we were moving through rehearsals and getting towards shooting all of this proof of concept material, I built out about a 10-episode series, and the short and that series pitch has taken both myself and that group of people around to all sorts of amazing places. We still aren't officially making that series. I hope that one day we will be, and certainly we've come close. This is a thing that happens in this town a lot of times. Is like, you're like, green light, oh, yellow,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
red.
Yeah, you get the green light before you get the, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of false screen lights.
Yeah.
But the actual 360 short, which is available to watch on YouTube, we got into, I think, 10 different film festivals. We're nominated for some awards. And then as a result, both myself and this group of people, we've gotten into some amazing other projects. And I do think, because people keep bringing up Vane, I think it will manifest itself elsewhere.
It feels like the time is right for that kind of show.
Thank you.
Seems like the audience is there for it.
Yeah.
And so we've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
Let's give people a taste of what it is.
Yeah.
Let us know what they're about to see, other than forewarning, lots of flashing lights.
Oh, yeah. So epilepsy warning for sure.
Yeah.
So this is the just 2D footage. It's a trailer for the series, which is about a coven of sophisticated Los Angeles vampires who are, I'll just let you watch. Just enjoy.
All right, so let's take a look at this clip from Vane.
For over a century,
One city has told everyone
how to dress,
How to talk.
how to move,
How to think.
in order to be cooler than cool.
And that kind of thing makes you wonder.
who died and made Los Angeles boss.
The truth? Lots and lots and lots of people died.
And when we were done,
We made ourselves the boss.
So I want us to give a shout out to Alex Chunu,
Yeah.
who you work with frequently and works with us sometimes, who shot that
Yeah.
and really busted ass, getting all of that lit
Chunu's incredible.
all night long. What people don't know looking at that is, like you were saying, we shot that in a day, except for the pickup shots on the rooftops and things.
Yeah.
Shot that in a day, and Alex was lighting till like 4 or 5 in the morning for
Yeah.
a shoot that was beginning a few hours later to get all those really awesome shots that he got in there.
One of the things that I think is like the most blessed thing perhaps about my whole life is just that I am consistently surrounded by collaborators who are just like beastly, like go in and be creative until you just get the job done. Like working with Chunu and Braden, they're the best. Like no mercy, just get that project done. Stay up all night, whatever it takes. It's great. I'm really lucky.
Yeah, and that's often what it takes, right? You can sit around and you can wait for the money to come in, or you can wait for somebody to give you a green light.
Yeah.
Or you can do what a lot of people have chosen to do now that it's an option.
Yeah.
Which is, let's just do this ourselves and figure it out
Totally.
on our own.
And look, not that I mean, getting paid for what you do is great. And I'm always, fighting to get the people that work with me paid and other jobs to make up for how many like favor things we're having to do for each other. We just look out for each other as much as we can so that we can all eat. But yeah, when you want to do something creative and weird and there's some amount of risk involved, it's hard to wait around for permission. Sometimes you've got to just do it.
Well, I think it's probably helped you out in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of like YouTube creators and other creators, because they've taken that approach, that's gotten people to recognize them and then offer them opportunities to get back to what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Where you, instead of compromising your vision to try to get work, have just jumped in and said, this is who I am, this is what I make, and then people have responded to it.
Yeah.
If you hadn't shared those with anybody, if you'd waited for somebody to discover you, you'd still
I'd be waiting
waiting
my whole life.
Right.
I think. Yeah.
You'd be sitting in your parents' house watching your dad make rock music and your mom dance around the living room wondering what you were going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think it's like you also don't expect, oh yeah, we can just make a 60-person rave happen. No big deal. And it was not an easy feat. Like it was
there were
calling in a lot of
there.
Oh yeah, it was a huge group of people, and everybody worked really hard on a hot day in a cramped, like dusty environment. But what we got as a result is so. I just remember being like around a pool table in somebody's house watching dailies afterwards, and everybody was just struck by like, man, this looks really good. Not to toot my own horn, but like really
Right.
to toot Alex's, I guess. Like it's phenomenally good looking footage.
So one thing I'm proud about for both of us
Yeah.
is so you got the piece, it looks great, you got what you wanted to shoot. It was a lot of stuff. It was very ambitious to shoot all that in one day. And we finished to the minute on time. I remember
I told you.
I remember, yeah, we were like, we're gonna finish on time, we're gonna finish on time. And then you said, oh, we're done. I don't think we need to do anymore. And I looked at the watch, and it was I don't remember what time it was, but it was precisely the minute we were supposed to finish.
Boom. I was like, we're gonna finish early, which we didn't, but we finished right on time, which is sort of
early.
Los Angeles for
Yeah,
early.
yeah.
Yeah, it was a great day.
So I want to talk about a different project now, which is this music video that you've recently done, right?
Yes.
It's called Creeper.
Creeper.
Yeah, so tell us about that, because it's very different than the stuff we've looked at so far.
Yes. Probably so Creeper and a series called Friendless 5, which was on the now defunct Fullscreen app, and hopefully will be available online at sometime soon for people to watch. These two projects are the biggest stylistic departure for me, as you were saying. A band called Fast Friends had this amazing song, and I had been talking to the lead singer, emphatically saying to him, like, I love your music. Whenever you guys need visuals, please, 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 please let me do some visuals for you. So the band came to me with this concept, which is about a girl that I think we are all familiar with, which is the social media, just constantly like this front-facing camera, all hours of the day.
The girl that baby boomers love to mock. On.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Millennials are spending all their money on avocados and staring into their phones. So we made a video about this girl and what she is not seeing going on behind her. There's a little tiny hint of that in the clip that I chose, but I really hope that people will go seek it out. I know that the video has been interestingly kind of divided on a gender line, fascinating to men and horrifying to women, which is not the usual response to my work.
Are the men fascinated in?
I mean, everybody I think is clued into. Everyone's having what I would say is a predictable response to it, but I think that
Is any of it a response like, oh, we don't understand how this could ever happen, or oh, is this actually a thing
everybody's
that
like,
happens?
oh yeah, I get it. But yeah, so I made this. It's all shot on a phone. Well, I did want to also say that those rooftop shots, the slow motion walkings, shot on a phone.
In vain, or okay.
Yeah.
So the shots in vain that you saw on the rooftop, shot on a phone.
Yeah.
So, good job
You
trying
can-
to put camera manufacturers out of business.
You're welcome.
But back to Creeper.
Right, back to Creeper. So all shot on this phone that I have under me right now.
Which we will not advertise what it is.
Yep.
Because we're not giving anyone free advertisement.
The lovely and not at all like this character, Nicole Stark, stars in it. There is another person in it played by one of the actresses that is in basically everything I'm showing you today, Anna Lore. And yeah, we had a really weird experience doing it because she was just doing the thing that the character is supposed to do all through LA. And people followed us around. Like we got harassed on the street.
So it came true
Oh
while
yeah,
you,
it
while
was
you shot it.
really, it was disturbing. You know, bright sunny day on Melrose and like dudes following us around in cars, like kind of disturbing stuff going on. But yeah.
So the behind the scenes is just further evidence of the concept itself.
Yeah, I think so. There's something like magnetic and frightening about this phenomenon in general. So it was a really cool, fun thing to explore, and I'm really proud of it.
So I think we should take a look at a clip from it, and then when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about what it was like directing that
Cool.
versus traditional video
Yeah.
footage. So if that clip is ready, let's take a look at Creeper.
You give me reason to live when I'm all alone at night. You give me reason to live. city, brand new view. Someone should tell you you look cute.
So you were saying it was sincerely all shot on a phone.
Yep.
So here's my biggest question, which
Yeah.
is, does that mean she's operating that phone most of the time, or did you have a DP operating it
Most
for
of the
you?
time. I just worked on a piece for an app called Yarn, where it is all meant to be handheld by character, but was all shot held by another camera operator.
And then you would just fake it, hold their arm
Yes,
out. Yeah.
exactly. And that was cool. Like, look, either way, cool. And you definitely have to have a performer that you trust if you're going to have them operate camera. But, you know, Nicole did a bang up job, and we wanted it to look very much like this was just what she does every day, and she did a great job.
Did you find that you had to approach it any differently than you would your other work because of the way that you were going to shoot it?
Yeah, you know, I was definitely more nervous about it because there's so much less control and so much more trust in those two actresses. But for me to, I mean, both of them are just such like capable, wonderful people. And as happens with a lot of my work, as we got going, I tend to do a lot of listening and collaborating with my performers, and this was certainly no exception. Like I had a plan for the day, and the girls were like, "What if we added this? What if we added that?" And a lot of that showed up in the final product, and it's great. I think everyone, as long as you're hiring or working with smart people, it is very important to listen to your performers, because if they're into it, they're going to have great instincts, and cool stuff will happen.
Yeah, they're what we're going to see.
Yeah.
So if they're unhappy, we might see that.
Yeah. Well, and I think like I don't know. Maybe I'm just lucky, but there's just a natural intelligence to a performer's relationship to their character. They're gonna immediately have a different kind of perspective on a thing, and I think it's always worth it to listen to.
Right. It's important for you as the director to guide the project, but one of your main jobs is to take other people's contributions and figure out how to get the best out of that,
Yeah.
right? Instead of just trying to force them to deliver your initial concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you know, one of the special things about working with the same people often is having sort of quicker access when you're talking about a character or something like that, knowing a little bit of where that lives in them personally, and so being able to talk about like experiences that they can draw from, or like trying to tap into the various creative wells that I know that they're holding. So I think not only do I just like hanging out with my friends on set, I think having a shorthand with performers is something that is super valuable, and something that I'm always trying to like, yeah, I'm doing this corporate job, but like, can I bring in one or two of my homies to be in it? Because then I know at least I have these like anchor points, and when I turn to you and I say like, okay, we're gonna do it, and it's gonna feel a little bit like this, I know they have immediate access to that.
You've built up all this time building up a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to walking in and having to build all new relationships and deliver a project
Totally.
at the same time.
And from the outside, I'm sure it looks just like nepotism, but
Right.
it ain't. It's really about like, to me, the quality of a project is so much more if the whole team is really on the same page from day one. So
And to be honest, so many of our jobs in this part of the country come from, I worked with this person before, I can vouch for this person. Great, because we have 10 minutes to figure out who
Right.
to hire for this position.
yeah, you're always so strapped for time. You'll never have enough time
Right.
or enough money ever. And so anything that gets you there more quickly and more easily, and also allows your set environment to be, you know, I always want to bring people on set and have it be as fun as it can be, because most days are just naturally going to be a little grueling. You're on your feet. The weather conditions are like never okay. And, you know, you just want to do whatever you can to create an environment where people are happy to be there. And part of that is like, if you know you're going to go to set and hang out with people that you love, already your happiness
Right.
quotient is so much higher.
Yeah, it starts you at a better place
Yeah.
otherwise.
Yeah.
So one of your most recent projects, one of the things you were working on earlier this year is Miss 2059
Yeah.
for Go 90, correct? Which is Anna Akana's show. And I imagine a lot of people listening to this, or watching this, know who Anna Akana is.
Yeah.
But if they don't, do you want to explain who she is?
Anna Akana is an amazing creator and creative performer. She's an actress, she's a writer, she's a director, she's a digital,
Comedian,
she's a
apparently.
comedian.
Yeah.
She's got a
An
book
author,
out.
yeah.
You know, she, as I understand it, and you know, I'm not Anna, so but like her notoriety began by doing these sort of advice-based YouTube videos where she's talking as herself.
Often playing multiple characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're super charming, and you should absolutely check out her channel. But a couple of years ago, she and I decided to do some writing together. We have a couple of feature scripts that we've been working on. And then from there, we worked on a 360 project that YouTube and Google produced called Faye, which is on her channel. It's about some kids who get in trouble with some witches. So very on brand for me.
How much clothing do they wear?
No nudity. It was very covered up, actually. It was really freezing.
That was really weird for you.
Yeah, it was. We shot it out in the mountains, and it was like so cold. And the girls are in these like gossamer gowns, and God bless them, no one got hypothermia, but we were just touch and go there for a bit. So we worked on that together, and then earlier this year, she let me know that New Form Digital and Go 90 had ordered a second season of her show, Miss 2059, and she wanted me to come on and be a co-director with her and be on the writing staff. I had to clear some hurdles with the powers that be, but I'm super lucky. Anna just really advocated for me being there and being her teammate and her partner on that whole show. And we also had a bunch of other of our pals in the writer's room, a really tiny writer's room, but Dylan Meyer co-wrote the whole season with us. Maxwell Kessler from Last Man on Earth wrote a couple episodes, two of my favorites, one of which comes out today.
Yeah, which we are going to talk about
Yeah.
in a little bit. Yeah.
So all of season 2 was really this like labor of friend love from me and Anna, and I'm super proud of it.
And you've brought us a couple of clips.
Yeah.
The first one we'll look at is from the first episode of the season, and you both co-directed and co-wrote this
Yes,
episode.
so
correct?
this episode is, I wrote the scripts for episode 1 and 2, and then, directed alongside Anna. Yeah.
So what are we about to look at
So
right now? What do they need to know?
You're about to see Anna's character. How do I set up this season? Man, I should know by now. So last season, the
Are you going to
character
spoil
of-
the first season?
I mean, yeah. The character of Victoria Young, who is a former beauty queen, competed in a Hunger Games style competition and blew open this conspiracy. There's basically this space zombie disease plaguing the galaxy called the Vortex. They're kind of these gray guys. I'm doing a terrible job. So anyway,
It sounds a lot like Earth, but in space.
in season 2, she and her former rival, Try, have been at this rebellion, try to defeat the Vortex thing for a while. And they've gotten involved in what appears to be a sex slave ring, but they've gone undercover basically to try and get this orb, which is very important. Anyway, so this is our first interaction with the unmasking of General Peyton Parker, played by Maiko. Just watch it. It's fun.
All right, let's take a look at that right now.
Give me the orb now. You know, I always hated the swimsuit round of the competition. So you better believe I didn't put on this bikini just to let some jarhead newbie walk off with a trophy.
What took you so long?
You think with all the advances in modern technology, someone would have put a damn pocket on bikinis by now?
Unfortunately, the patriarchal values still have an iron grip on female fashion design across the galaxy. We should fix that right after we kill all these vortex collectors, fixals, and save the dead universe.
Sounds like a plan.
So when you come onto a show like this,
Yeah.
this is already somebody else's pre-designed show, but it still looks, what we just saw, like it has your aesthetic.
Yeah.
So how much of it was you trying to adhere to what was already created, and how much of it was you allowed to just run and do what you like to do?
I mean, Anna and, really the entire upper team, Maura Anderson, our amazing producer, gave us free rein to run in the direction that we wanted to run. We're working with a pre-established world, pre-established characters, but the whole premise of season 2 is so different from season 1 that it was really okay to change its visual style. One of the things that I think Anna and I really connect on is aesthetic. We have similar tastes, and we are attracted to like a deeply saturated color palette, and and same with our DP, Jan Lasada. He's terrific, and we told him, we're like, look, go nuts. Like, we want all of the colors of the rainbow in this show. And we had a joke on set about how much haze there was. There was just suffocating levels of fog and haze.
That's about as much as you want normally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I even at the end of the shoot got everyone shot glasses that say I got hazed on Miss 2059. But yeah, we were working within the narrative parameters of something pre-established, but not the visual ones.
And how many episodes total are there?
There are 12 in this season.
12. And
today is the release of episode 6. So we have a bunch more weeks to go. It's one per week every Thursday on go90.com.
So they do still release it weekly then?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They, sometimes with the digital series, they'll drop the whole thing at once. With ours, we're doing a kind of traditional thing. Episodes 1 and 2 came out the same day, but other than that, it's one per week. And I think even Christmas week.
And you were saying this episode 6 releases at noon today.
So like in 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So
as soon as this is done, and you click like buttons and everything on Facebook, you can run over to Go90.
Yeah.
Which we will have a link to this episode beneath this show you're watching right now on Facebook, so that you can go directly to Go90 and see episode 6, which is releasing today at noon after this show ends. But we can give them a little sneak peek now, right? Do we want to tell them what's going on, or we don't want to? Because
yeah, I think we can set it up. So basically, we're dealing with the two romantic rivals in this show, both vying for Victoria's affections. We've got General Peyton Parker, and then we have Lahir, who was like a former game show host who was her love interest last season and turned on her. He's back, he's on her team, he's doing his best, but he's a little shady. And both of them, now that they're forced to work on a team together, are butting heads. So where we are in this clip, basically they tried to bake a birthday cake and they broke the oven, and the whole ship is shutting down. While they are being attacked by Vortex. So we've got all sorts of stuff. We've got Victoria and her sister off trying to fix the ship. We've got Try and the character of Daphne trying to fend off the Vortex by shooting them. And then we've got these boys who are looking for coolant tanks so that they can fix the engine. So they're very sweaty, and they're having a fight about what to do.
All right, so let's take a look at their birthday cake aftermath right now.
My God, I need a glass of water.
Sure you do. What a strain it must be for you to take notes.
I am categorizing per your instructions.
Yeah, well, here, I think I'm gonna rescind that request, as I think it's far more prudent that you give me an actual, real hand with this.
But that wouldn't be protocol.
Look, buddy. This isn't a game show. This is war. And when you screw over an ally, there are actual consequences. People can die. People I care about.
So why don't you drop the mean girl bullshit for 5 minutes and help me find the goddamn coolant?
Yeah. Sorry.
This also stays true to your aesthetic.
Yeah.
Which is mostly naked, but in this case, very sweaty guys together.
I did
in
not
a
write
room.
this episode. I just wanted to be known that this was not my pitch. This was not my idea. This was Maxwell Kessler, the only guy on our writer's staff. And he was like, I forget what, but he even, I think even the term greased up was in the description of what this scene looks
And they're
like.
like, we wrote this one just for Maggie.
I think, the target audience for Miss 2059 is definitely teen gals. We are really excited. I was reading some comments on the last episode that people are shipping Victoria and Try, Victoria and Lahir, Victoria and Peyton, and I'm like, that is exactly what we were going for. We want you to have crushes on everybody because that's what we have also. Also, I mean, Maiko and Hartley, the two actors in that scene, they're just fantastic. Like, I had such a great experience working with both of them, and they're brand new to me, which is, I was saying that thing of how I like recycle my friends and get them into everything. This was like brand new cast, and they're just marvelous.
And as we mentioned, if you look in the comments beneath this episode on Facebook, you can find a link to see the full episode in 10 minutes from now.
Yeah, like and comment, subscribe, sign up for Go 90, you guys.
Right, yeah.
It's free.
Get Maggie more work. Get them to bring her back for season 3.
You know, the more people that watch season 2, the more likely it is that there is a season 3. So we definitely want you to watch. But I know there's a lot of content out there. And, I think what we've got going for us is like purple man candy and, yeah, I don't know, a lot of spirit, a lot of cool fights. We've got sick one-liners coming up in episode 11. Really awesome one-liners. I also really like, what was great about getting to direct this show was it was like directing a little micro action movie. There's so many fight scenes in that first episode, and then especially in episode 11 and 12, we got to work with some incredible fight directors, 3 different amazing people, and stunt performers, just like such fun stuff. And everybody in these like crazy alien costumes and prosthetics created by these, like our makeup team was incredible. I just like everybody. It's really the theme here.
So if you want to watch a show that's made by likable people, featuring likable people, sweaty, the color purple, half naked people, fights, everything you could want, then in 8 minutes you should go to the link on Go 90.
Definitely.
Have we hit Go 90 enough on this?
I think we
have.
have.
We sent enough people there?
Yeah.
So go watch
definitely.
the show if you haven't caught on yet. Just go watch the show. So what I think we should do is go ahead and wrap this up so people can go watch the show.
Yeah.
But something I'd like to do before we do that is there are probably some people who are watching this who think, hey, I'd like to be the next Maggie Levin. So is there any kind of little piece of advice that you want to give somebody now that I've put you on the spot?
Oh man, I mean, it's sort of what we've been talking about the whole time, is don't wait for permission. And also, look, I know almost anybody who's perhaps smarter than me is going to say, don't put your own money into your work. I think that is nonsense. I basically, this is not the only kind of work that I do. And it's not the kind of work that most people in Los Angeles who are creatives, like, we all have side hustles. You have to. Until you reach a certain level. When I'm directing Marvel movies, I probably will not be having a a side hustle.
So is that the plan? Is that where you're headed?
I mean, I don't
Is that
know.
where you're
I'm
shooting
not-
for? Should Marvel call you up after this?
Please do.
When they watch episode 6
I can handle
of Miss
it.
2059?
No, what I'm actually really hoping for, and I'll just say it straight up out loud, there's a Netflix version of Sabrina the Teenage Witch that's coming up. I am desperate to work on that show.
All right, so Netflix,
Please call me.
If you were for some odd reason watching this show, either on YouTube after it aired or right now live on Facebook, and you're thinking, man, we really need somebody to direct this Sabrina the Teenage Witch thing, we can't find anyone, or we just haven't found the right person yet, call up Maggie Levin. Do you want us to post your phone number here on
Oh,
the
sure.
show?
Go for it.
Okay, so
No,
we won't do that.
I think, you know, people always say to write what you know, et cetera, but I think there's no reason to compromise on style early on. Like, absolutely be who you are. Absolutely take the $400, $500, $2,000, $10,000 out of your account that it takes to make something for yourself. Because if, you know, you have to have a calling card, and your calling card has to be who you are. And so I've been really fortunate that I've been surrounded by people who have helped me make that happen. Yeah, I'd say this is like 20 pieces of advice. Do that, make films with your friends, and don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick is a good piece of advice.
I think that's the number one thing.
Although some people back here would argue that I don't follow that advice regularly.
Yeah, no, I mean, as we spoke about before, everything in this field is based on referral and who you know. So be fun to work with and don't be mean.
And to let people be able to find you
Yeah.
by being available on the internet.
I am all
as
over the damn
you are.
internet.
So tell people where they can find you all over the internet.
I am at Maggie Levin on Instagram and Twitter, and Facebook, but like, you know.
Don't go
I don't
creep
have a,
on her and
I don't have
pester
a, I don't
her
have
on
a
her
public
Facebook
page there,
page.
and
Yeah.
we can do plenty of talking on the Instagram and the Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to keep up with Butcherbird Studios, which I hope you do, hopefully I have not scared you away on this episode, you can find Butcherbird Studios. Obviously, you're watching this either on YouTube or Facebook, so you know where to find us there. But if you look for Butcherbird Studios most anywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you'll find us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got the color
Yes,
of the year.
I was hoping you would point this out.
Oh, yeah.
What color is this, Maggie Levin?
Oh, it's kind of this one.
Oh, it's this one?
Yeah, it's this purplish guy over
in the
here.
center here?
I know that it's blue, but like it's reading purple to me. It's reading blue on that screen.
So according to Maggie,
I guess we are over
featuring
here.
the 2018 Pantone color of the year.
Ultraviolet is the color
Yes.
of the year. You'll see in the ads for it, its announcement. There's Prince tucked into the little collage.
Oh, is that why? Is it a Prince thing?
Yeah, well,
To a
and it's
certain
also
degree?
like about royalty and change, and there's some other qualities to purple. I'm a big purple fan in general, but yeah, my spirit color is the color of the year, dude. It's pretty tight.
So be a cool person, don't be a dick, embrace the color purple.
Make films with your friends.
And make films with your friends. And I think that is enough advice for everyone. And with that, we can say thank you, Maggie Levin, for
Thank you
being
so
on the
much.
show. Thank you for watching. Please come back. We'll be here again next week, probably at this same time. And you can always find past episodes on YouTube, Butcherbird Studios. Thank you again, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.